Hey everyone, welcome. We're about to judge the illustrative category this evening, and our sponsor is dPhoto magazine. Thanks so much to David Burns and his team at dPhoto. Their bi-monthly magazine publication is always packed full of inspiration, featuring in-depth interviews with top local and international photographers, as well as a fantastic practical how-to guides, reviews of the latest gear, tips to improve readers' own photography, and of course, pages of stunning images from cover to cover. I'd encourage you all to head to their website and subscribe today. A special thanks to David and his team for their continued support of the Iris Professional Photography Awards. Thanks so much, dPhoto. We really appreciate your support. So you've just seen the run through of all of the images that were entered into the category. And now we're going to see a run through of the ones that are going to be live judged this evening. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Michael. So I'm just going to read you out the description of this category. So it's illustrative category. Photographs intended to illustrate concepts and ideas that provide narrative and provoke the viewer in a thought process. Includes photographs taken to produce includes photographs taken or produced to illustrate a subject or topic, magazine article, a website, or a book cover. Entries may be takeouts from assignments or from an entrant's own stock photography, may be conceptual or representative in nature. Now we have some wonderful judges here this evening, so they're going to do a quick introduction of who they are. So judges, if you just want to flick on your mics, I'll just call out your names and you can tell me a little something about yourself. Chris, let's start with you, please.
Oh, hi guys, I'm Chris Anderson. I'm a photographer from Brisbane, as you can tell from my accent. So I'm primarily a commercial photographer doing performance-related commercial work, but illustrative, this style of photography is my absolute happy place. And I'm so keen to look at some amazing images, and this panel is spectacular. So yeah, so looking forward to this.
Fabulous. Thanks, Chris. Catherine Katanak.
Hey everyone, Catherine. I'm a photographer based here in Wellington, mainly shooting portraits. I'm a master of the NZIPP with distinction in 4 bars, I think, and I'm also current president of the Institute. So yeah, really excited. I love this category. It's always just such an interesting mix, really, really cool stuff. So really cool.
Thanks, Catherine. Catherine Williams.
Hi guys, I'm Catherine Williams. I'm in Christchurch, so I have a studio here in Christchurch, mainly portraits now. I'm a Grandmaster of NZIPP and Master of the AIPP and last year's New Zealand Photographer of the Year. Super excited about this category, always just blows me away, so thank you so much.
Thanks, Catherine. Jackie.
Hi, yeah, I'm Jackie Rankin. I'm living at the moment in Twizel in the centre of the South Island of New Zealand with Mike Langford, and we run photographic workshops and instructional things all about photography, lots of levels of photography. So I'm a Grand Master of the NZIPP and the AIPP, and I'm really excited to see these photographs and see what they communicate.
Fabulous, thanks. Jackie. Rocco, hi.
Hello, Rocco here from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Grandmaster with the IPP with 1 platinum bar. Been a professional photographer for over 26 years and been a member of the IPP for 25 years. So that's the white beard that goes with it. Predominantly portrait and wedding photographer, but I also run a post-production company where we specialise anything to do compositing work for photographers for book covers, magazines, and so on. So really looking forward and seeing some amazing work come through.
Fabulous. Thanks, Rocco. Paul, how are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, coming live from the lovely little island called Tasmania in the bottom of Australia. I'm born and bred Kiwi, though, and proudly so. Yeah, I've been judging for quite a while and missing coming over the ditch this year to see you guys in person. But the illustrative category is one of the most evocative and actually challenging categories to judge because it requires a lot of the judges. As any genre could just pop around at any time, so you've got to sort of widen your scope, and it makes it easily one of the most exciting and amazing categories to judge. So super looking forward to it.
Thanks, Paul. Richard, hi.
Hi, I'm Richard Wood. I'm a commercial portrait and wedding photographer here in Hawke's Bay, New Zealand. And also an educator. So yeah, Grandmaster of the NZIPP and very much looking forward to judging my favourite category.
Thanks, Richard. Mandy, hiya.
Hi guys, I'm Mandy Lynn. I'm a photographer based out of Wellington. And like Richard, I'm an educator, and this is my absolute favorite category. I adore seeing what comes through and the imagination and the storytelling. And that's really what I look for, is what are you telling me? And I'm really looking forward to seeing what stories are being told today. Great. Thanks.
Thanks, Mandy. Good to have you all here. So first lot of judges, can we please have Jackie, Richard, Catherine Williams, Rocco and Paul. Other judges can just turn off your screens and your microphones if you could. So thank you. Thank you. So in this category, we're going to, when an image comes up, we will read you the image title, and if there is a, what's the other bit? Caption. Well, if there's a caption as well, we will read that to you. That's not coming from me. Shah, who's sitting to my left, actually looks like to my, there's her hand. She's going to be reading them because we've got an iPad non-paper thing going on here right now. So you'll hear Shah read that out. And let's get straight into it. Michael, can we please have the first image?
Okay, so the image title, this sums up 3 brothers in lockdown.
And we have a score of 74. Paul, yes, you may challenge that.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt like this was a little bit easy to whip past at first, and the subtlety of its presentation, I think, is one of the things I find a little bit more sophisticated on reflection, and that it sort of has this believable everyday kind of palette to it in terms of just being seen. And yet there's a very depthful conversation about brotherhood and about bullying and about growing up together and about contained spaces, and you can follow those down quite a few different tracks together. The lighting's really simple. We're not pulled away in other directions by the context. Like in terms of lockdown, being outside a field or having the freedom or the power to go out there is kind of represented in a simple sort of way. But I feel like I'd love us to have a bit more of a conversation and maybe bring this into at least a bronze range.
Thanks, Paul. Let's hear, anyone else want to speak to that? Oh.
I'm happy to say something.
Thanks, Catherine.
For me, where I scored this 70, and what's really holding it back for me is the background isn't telling me anything really about the story. I mean, I can see they're on gumboots, so I'm assuming there's some farm element to it, but I'm not seeing that carried through. So as a cohesive piece, it's not drawing it all together for me. I'm enjoying his expression, and I think the light on his face is effective for this style, but just to bring it together is what I'm looking for to go to an award.
Thanks, Catherine. Looks like maybe back to you, Paul, for writer reply.
Oh, that keeps it simple. Yeah, I feel like the background is just a support, Catherine, rather than the story, and that's why I alluded to it. I enjoyed its sort of simplicity and why I felt like it's a bit easier to overlook. But it simplifies and brings your attention to that dynamic. There's a lot of temptation in a small space with period of time for boys to bully and to use their power or their physicality over each other, and in isolation without sort of a wider social context in lockdown, that things can sort of run a bit rife. And I feel like this speaks really strongly to that. The context, at the very least, speaks a little bit to maybe their country's sort of place, or the gumboots sort of speaks to where they are, and that gives me a little bit of backstory, enough to sort of bring me into some of the finer elements that I see before. And I think his expression is really believable. I feel like the compositing really works, and I'm not really pulling it apart in any way technically. And I can feel myself being bullied and by a brother, quite strongly from an emotional point of view. I can really engage with it and relate to it. So it's only 1 point over the line to bronze, but I feel like they've done more than enough to do that in my mind.
Great, thanks so much, Paul. If judges, could you please rescore? Paul, if you just enter the same score, thank you. And we have a bronze award at 75. Congratulations to the photographer. Michael, can we just have a blank screen for 2 secs, please? Thank you so much. Rocco, are you?
Done.
Great, thanks so much.
Technology.
Isn't it wonderful?
Amazing.
Next image, please.
There is no title for this image.
Thank you, judges. Nice and consistent. We have a score of 73. And let's go to Richard. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Look, it's very visually pleasing into a piece of art. It's definitely something different. The repetition, rather than having so much repetition through, I would have quite liked to have seen maybe it just broken down to different areas of that initial image of the carrot. But all in all, its colour.
Thank you, Richard. Next image, please.
Okay, the image title is Bull in a China Shop. The image caption: this artwork contains 10 cow and bull puns, such as bull in a china shop. How many can you find?
And we have a score of 83. That is a silver award. Thank you so much, judges. That's very consistent. Well done to the photographer. Who would like to say a few words to this one? Did anyone find the 10? That's what I want to know.
I could say something. This is fantastic. Your eye goes everywhere, and I can't find any. So hopefully, I can find the main one, and I know there's this incredible story, and you could just look at this image for hours. And I really applaud the level of detail, motion, and to draw so many elements in together is fabulous.
Thank you, Catherine. Next image, please.
The image title is The Fight Within.
Paul, yes, you can step off. And Catherine Katanak, would you like to pop in for this one, please? Paul, just take your screen off. Yes, there we go. Thank you. Okay, thanks, Catherine.
So the image title, The Fight Within. When a person struggles for a long time in the choice between life and death, there will be a moment in which there is no pain, no hope, and no more fight. The moment in which you are numb, no emotions, nor feelings.
Thanks, Shah. And we have a score of 86. That's a silver with distinction.
Can I
Well
challenge
done.
it? Can I
We do
challenge-
virtual claps. We just do little.
No, everybody's within 4.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but you can offer a few words if you want to, Catherine.
Or if somebody else has some constructive feedback for the photographer, it might be more useful. I was just going to say how great it is. So,
we're all happy with that. Yeah.
Well, does anybody want to offer any constructive criticism for the photographer?
Perhaps I will.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jackie.
Right. I judged it at 84, and I would have liked to have brought it up much bit higher, but I just found the stare of the woman on the left looking off out of the distance and not engaging with the rest of the story a little bit disconcerting, and I couldn't read that into the whole story. That was just one thing, but amazing otherwise.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Jackie. Now, Catherine, you can step back off, and Paul, would you like to come back, please? Thanks, Paul. Next image, please.
There is no title for this image.
Richard, did you hit enter?
No, still going.
Oh, still going. Okay. Thank you. And we have a score of 87, currently in silver distinction. Catherine Williams is going to challenge that one.
Yeah. Excuse me. I gave this 92. There's we're looking for stories. There's so much story in this, and a great deal of emotion. I really connected with this. It made me feel extremely sad to see Dad totally oblivious to his children and his family and his life. And this top one is presented through the coloration of it. Life is good. Life is sunny. And he can't see it because he's absolutely hypnotized. The details that, the book, Are You My Mother, just so fitting to this woman who's after the idealistic home life, And, you know, I mean, the story as we go through and how it changes, the tones are changing. And then, you know, we've got this absolute complete hypnotized. His life has completely disappeared before his eyes. And then in this bottom one where we see the tears down his face and the light has turned out, gone to dark. It's very somber and very blue. Very effectively presented. I really enjoy the narrow presentation of each image and how they're stacked on top of each other as well.
Thanks so much, Catherine. Any hands up, or do I go to someone? Paul, I'm looking at you. Oh, sorry, Jackie.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Do you normally, Kate, go to the lowest score? We're used to that. And then we move from there.
Yeah, no, you can talk. You can go. And then we can come back to Paul.
Okay. My question was just that there's a sense of passage of time here, but the man is dressed in the same clothes, and it's just all that's changed is the color and the processing of the image. I think for me to go up into gold, I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more effort gone into perhaps some changing of those clothes to resemble that change of mindset. All right.
Yep. Thanks, Jackie. Paul?
Yeah, there's another element of this that really appeals to me in the way it's presented. It feels like there's a falling down. You know, I feel like that darkness is pulling me down lower. There's a heaviness down lower, and I'm being swept downwards into this darker sort of place, sort of symbolically and physically at the same time. And to be able to create this image and have that figure in exactly the same place over that period of time, you know, that transition of tone that really mimics that just quiet but beautiful, innocent appeal from the child in that second image, I think is just so incredibly emotive. This last kind of appeal to the father to come with, and he's not there, and that extra weight for that illumination. You know, and we're not just given it in the third slide. There's another time space where he really does take a long time. So it's really spread out, but it's exceptionally well done. I'm considering coming to join you, Catherine.
Thanks, Paul. Richard?
Yeah, no, I was sitting on the average, but one thing that did strike me a little bit was the color of the shirt between the first and second photo. But I'm actually, it's just that little boy leading out of looking back at dad out of that second image. You know, this could be a time where it's you know, mum's hand is on dad. Come on, dad, get off the phone, and then half an hour later, you know, the next image, and the image after that's possibly another half hour later. Yeah, I mean, the clothes, I don't understand why the clothes would need to change over something that could be over, you know, a space of a couple of hours. And it, you know, I love the way it's rained. You can see the rain coming in on the third image, and his shirt is wet, and all of a sudden he's just had this realization in that final image, and it's almost a chapter one to the story. And I'm going to come up to gold. I'm going to come and join Catherine, and I'm just enjoying it more and more the more I look at it. So
yeah, I get that now.
Thanks, Richard. Rocco, is it your hand?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Just
put your hands up like around your face, because I've got.
Because if I do that, it kind of disappears. So that's kind of a bit. Yeah, this is a very, very strong piece as far as visual communication goes, and I could see this being used to depict, you know, social media addiction, or you know, which is so common today. And the photographer here has chosen to do it in one instant. In other words, one point in time, which really represents this man's life. So that's very cleverly done. So, Catherine, I think I'm going to join you. I think this is there's so many different layers to this, and it's just brilliant.
Thanks, Rocco. Catherine, back to you for a writer reply.
Nice. I really appreciate everything that you've brought to this in your comments, and this weight that Paul talked about, you know, the weightiness of that of leading into the bottom. I do think that that's, you know, really anchoring us down to that place of gloom. And this is about a subject that we see presented in front of us every day. People getting lost in this addiction, and it's presented in a very striking way. So I'd love to see this come to gold.
Fabulous. Thanks, judges. Please rescore.
Sorry, I think I made a mistake.
Thank you, judges. And we have a gold at 91. Congratulations.
Very good.
Well done.
Mm.
Thank you for the for all the good chats, judges. That's awesome. Can we have the next image, please?
The image title, Human-Animal Cohabitation.
Thanks, Shah. Rocco, you can step off. And Mandy, do you want to pop in just for this one? Mandy, are you there? Maybe not. Maybe let's go to Catherine then.
No, I'm here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good. There she is.
Sorry.
There we go.
Holding on. Okay.
Mandy, did you hear that? Was there a title?
Yes. The title for the image is Human-Animal Cohabitation. The caption, animals are moving into human habitats to source food that is no longer available in their natural environment.
I don't think I'm unlocked.
Mandy, see the line with the red square?
Wait,
That's the line
it's working now. Okay.
Good. We're good.
There we go.
Okay. Good.
Ugh. Did it go?
No, not yet. We should be on slide 7.
I'm going to type it into the chat because it's just, sorry, I'm just going to type it into the chat because it's disappeared off of my screen. Having a moment.
Okay, yeah, put your score in there and we can.
Okay.
Okay,
there you go.
Thanks, Mandy.
Yeah, no worries.
Here we go. All right, we have a score of 79. So because that is on the cusp of a bronze and a silver, we're going to ask, the judges are all really consistent with their scoring too, so there's no challenges, but I'll just ask the judges to either enter a score of 79 or 80. 79 if you think it's a bronze, 80 if you think it is a silver. Mandy, have you, actually, do you want to put yours in the chat again and we might just...
It's still not going. Okay.
No.
Yep, I can. Weird. Okay, is it the review score?
Yeah. So you need to go across to the far right of your spreadsheet and it'll say image review score. Oh, you got it. You got it. Thank you.
Mandy, I've inserted it for you.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Richard's got his hand up. Is that the right score?
Mandy, can you confirm a score in the chat?
Can you just confirm that
Yes.
second score of yours in the chat, please, Mandy? So we might have...
Yes, I can do that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're good. Thank you, Mandy. So it stays in the bronze. It's in a bronze award at 79. And someone had their hand up. I was looking at a different screen. Who was it? Was it you, Richard? Richard, your microphone's off.
That was because I coughed. No, it wasn't me, but I can.
Sorry.
Yeah, look, it's quite a gorgeous little piece of work. especially on, at first glance, and you are drawn in through that rhino being the brightest spot in the center. Just a little couple of issues. And one actually before that, and I did like the way the building, the floor is kind of on that angle. It's almost like it's being weighed down by this rhinoceros. It kind of looks like Southeast Asia or somewhere around there, and the rhinoceros thing, I'm not sure how that fits in. I can appreciate the monkey, but I guess it's the eye contact of the woman down below. It almost looks like she's sort of gazing out underneath the building rather than what's actually happening inside it. But, yeah.
Thanks, Richard. Next image, please.
There's no title for this image.
Got me back for this one. Okay.
Sorry, I just hop off for a wee minute, Rocco. I forgot. Sorry. Mandy, you stay there for this one, and then we'll bring Rocco back.
Is that working now?
Yes, you're good.
Yay! Okay.
All right, good. We have a score of 84. That is a silver award. And Paul, would you like to say something?
Oh, yeah, it'd be my pleasure.
The judge is very consistent, so.
Incredibly elegant, sophisticated piece. There's a sense of poise and balance and exploration. There's a symbology of clockwork or machinery. There's these beautiful, subtle blues and greens that are spread throughout, and you can read into it different sort of ways, and it's a very unusual composition, but it just seems to work so wonderfully with this dissection of different geometrical pieces. Just beautifully sophisticated piece of work. I love it.
Thank you, Paul. Mandy, you can jump back off, and Rocco, would you like to come back in? Thank you. Thanks, Mandy, for that.
No worries.
Thanks, Mandy. Can we have the next image, please?
There's no title for this image.
Richard, have you put your, oh, there we go, thank you. We have a 71. Catherine Williams, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, it's a beautiful portrait of this woman with I think maybe Mount Taranaki in the background, and I'd love to see a little bit more detailing through the trees, and the line that's bringing us across the hill line is potentially a little bit jarring, but I'm certainly enjoying the character in this photograph.
Thanks, Catherine. Next image, please.
There is no title for this image.
And we have a score of 81, a silver award. Pretty consistent through here. Paul?
Yeah, I'm quite a big fan on this. I was a bit higher on 84. If you have the capacity to zoom in a little bit, the texture is just unbelievable, and the detail all the way through, even just the texture and the detail on the bark of the tree, and the sense of dynamism through that asymmetry and that pulling sort of gives it a lot of energy. The tonal range was handled beautifully. I wasn't quite sure how I felt about how bright the white cloud is, but I just felt like maybe that's just a symbolic element and less about the literal sort of aspect of it. But remarkably balanced for a round framed and presented really beautifully. Well done.
Thanks, Paul. Silver award, congratulations. Can we have the next image, please?
There's no title for this image.
Thank you, judges. We have an 83 silver award. Congratulations. Rocco, would you like to say a few wee things to this one, please?
Yeah, it's a beautiful monochromatic image. I mean, the beautiful tones in there, composition works well. I feel some of the dark points are far too dark, and there's an attempt to show a little bit of the environment in the bottom left-hand corner, but it's not. The narrative is not clear enough, and that kind of just brought me down with the score. But yeah, beautifully done.
Thanks, Rocco. Next image, please.
Okay, the image title is Looking Sheepish. The caption, our environments are colliding. We are coexisting, or are we?
We have a score of 73, again, very consistent with our judges.
Challenge.
Yes, Paul, you can challenge this. You're 5 away. Away you go.
I think what really appeals to me is a level of conversations going on in here. It speaks about, man's throwaway sort of relationship with material things. It speaks about our control over animals and livestock through the fencing. It speaks about the capacity of animals to survive and thrive in any situation, regardless of what's thrown at them. And it's presented in quite a sort of unassuming, slightly comical sort of way with an interesting range of colors and textures. And I feel like there was enough narrative and thought and avenues I could sort of engage with this image that I felt like it deserved a bronze at least.
Thank you, Paul. Anyone else? Maybe Jackie, do you want to say something to this one as well?
I scored at 71, and I would have really loved it without the fence there. I think the fence is getting in the way of the narrative that was discussed, and it's creating some mergers of that fence post going through the sheep in the background, and so less would be more here. And it's an opportunity in this category to take those elements out and I think it would have been much stronger.
Thank you, Jackie. Back to Paul, I think, for right of reply.
Yeah, I agree with the allusion to the title without the fence, but at the same time, I enjoyed the added narrative with the fence that talks more about man's control and their division and their ownership of land, which from an animal's point of view would never exist and doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So to me, that actually added quite a significant level of narrative to it, which was less alluded to in the title, but is very present visually. So yeah, up to you guys, but I'm well in there from all the different avenues that I can explore it with.
Thanks, Paul. Judges, could you re-enter your scores, please? Paul, keep yours the same. And we've gone up a point to 74. Thank you, judges. Next image, please.
There's no title for this image.
Thank you, judges. We have a 74. Nice and consistent there. Catherine?
Yeah.
For some words?
Of course, absolutely. The palette is really quite beautiful in here, and there's a quite a painterly feel. Where I'm being let down a little bit is actually there's a bit of that looks like either chromatic aberration or a little fringing on the top of the tree line, and perhaps even leaving out that landscape in the distance would actually make it stronger, and drawing that sort of triangle between the symbolism of the three main things that we're seeing there, I think could be quite striking without the land in the distance.
Fabulous. Thanks, Catherine. Great advice. Next image, please.
The image title is Cystic Fibrosis. The caption reads, Nikki suffers from cystic fibrosis. She received a double lung transplant. She is holding her old lungs, turning her back on the past. Her tattoo says, CF, you may be taking my life, but you will never rule it.
Thank you, judges. We have a 73. Paul, would you like to say a few words to this one?
Yeah, it's quite sort of unnerving in a way in terms of the power of the story. Where I felt like I didn't want to go too much higher was the handling of tonality and the kind of harshness of the vignette. And I guess you could have potentially used a different background to reach further into the narrative and take us down another avenue yet again to add to the layers we've already presented. But obviously a lot of thought put into quite a powerful moment, or life journey, I should say.
Thanks, Paul. Okay, can we please have a blank screen, Michael? Judge change. We're going to have a wee judge change. Thanks, Mike. Mandy, would you like to come in for Catherine, please? And Chris, would you like to come in for Paul? Thanks, Paul.
All right.
We're also going to have a panel chair change. So Paul's going to come in, Paul Daly.
Subbing in.
Subbing in. I have to shoot away. I don't know. Do you want to change the name or do you want to be me?
Oh, I can. Either. Right. Okay. So, are we all ready? Michael, can we have the next image, please?
Okay, the image title is 2020 through Zoom.
How are we going, Mandy? Okay. And we have a score of 73. So that's good professional standard. Are we all happy with that? Okay. Could we have a word to the author? Maybe we'll throw Chris in right in the deep end, just new on the panel.
Excellent. Anyone that's living through 2020, this is their life right now, but it's all the really weird moments of their life compacted into one. So that's been captured really well. Props to the photographer for putting little Easter eggs in there, like the background figure in the center. I think if you wanted to look to bring it up a little bit more, I'd maybe think about the photography aspect of it. So I think we're simulating kind of the Zoom webcam look, but more attention to make it look more like a crafted photograph, maybe. I don't know, it's a tricky one. It's a good job, though.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, next image, please.
The image caption reads, the title reads, Reflective Nature. The caption reads, this is a reflective study of the wonder of nature's painterly creations.
Okay, and we have a score of 74. Are we happy with those scores, judges? Anybody like to say?
No, I'll challenge that. That's not even a bronze yet, is it? No, yeah, I'll challenge that.
No. So Mandy, you do have the ability to challenge us if you want.
Yes, I would very much like to.
Okay.
What a beautiful, just from an aesthetic standpoint, just the subtlety of the color, the restraint that the artist had for their palette, the beautiful lighting of it, the delicacy. This deserves at least a bronze. I can't believe we've missed out. That I gave it an 87. I thought it was stunning. But please explain to me why you do not feel this rates an award?
Mandy?
Okay, so Jackie, would you like to say something?
I just scored this in professional practice at 68. And yeah, I perhaps I've been a bit harsh. I just thought there was too much going on. It's quite a busy composition, and it seemed to be very overlit right through the center there, and the darkness around the edge was not really endearing to the subject. It was taking my eye away, and yeah, that's part of the reason. I'm listening.
Okay. Anybody in the middle ground there would like to? Richard?
Yeah. Look, I gave it a 73. It is beautiful. I'm just keep going into that beautiful soft detail. It's all sitting around that midsection and the top where the object actually is. And I feel like there's too much mutedness, is that a word? There's too much happening at the bottom where I don't necessarily want to be, I want to be going with this image. So it was just possibly a relook at the crop. But otherwise, yeah. On the bottom, it is beautiful, but yeah, it just, my eyes got lost. They keep falling down to the bottom of the image and getting lost in there.
Okay, thank you. Mandy, looks like it's back to you for a write a reply.
Yeah, write a reply. So the artistry that went into the lighting of this, the artistry that went into the conceptual thinking, your eyes do travel to the middle, and or at least mine do. And there are these rhythms and patterns that just take you, and you just, for me, I can't take my eyes off of it. It just swirls around, and the reflection is just stunning. And that at least deserves a bronze in my book. It doesn't have to be a high bronze, but let's just push it. It's 1 point, guys. Come on. That's all we're after. All right.
Okay, judges, if you could please re-judge. Mandy, please keep yours the same. Thank you.
Yep.
Alrighty, all the talking got it there. We're up to a 76, so it's a bronze award.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you, judges. Okay, can we have the next print, please?
The image title is Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Okay, and we have a score of 76, which is a bronze award. Fairly consistent scoring across the board. Who would like to have a quick word to the author about this? Jackie, put your hand up there.
It's I scored it in that, right on that range, because of its creativity that it brought to it. But I'm lost with the little girl down the bottom, not really engaging in the story, and there's a hot spot there, and the man, you know, looking down instead of perhaps looking up into this golden glory of light.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Next image, please.
There is no title for this image.
Paul, can I step off?
Yep, sure. Chris, jump off, and Paul Holland, are you there? Paul, hello. Here he is.
Right here.
Okay, can you just step in for this one, please?
No problem.
Where's Mandy gone? We may have a technical issue, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you invite someone back in.
Mandy's Paul.
Okay, can we seem to have lost one of our judges. They might have dropped off the internet. So, Catherine Kadanek, are you about?
I am, yep.
Okay, can you drop in and have a look at this image for us?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, now we have a score of 73, and it's very consistent scoring across everybody. Would anybody like to say something about this?
Oh, okay. Just
okay, Jackie.
I'd say that leaving that sign in makes us read it, and we have to relate to that, to the background, and there's just too much going on. It needs it either to be out and show us some rubbish, or crop it down to being one main subject story.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. Paul, can we bring back Chris, and if you can go and take a break again? Thank you for that.
Welcome.
Right. Can we have the next image, please? Oh, Catherine, can you stay?
Yeah, I was just asking you.
Yeah, sorry. Can you stay until we find out what's happened to Mandy?
No problem.
Yep. Oh, Richard, he's red carding us. Okay, so Catherine Williams, are you about?
I'm back. I'm back.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay, rightio. Well, we might as well have Catherine Kadanek sitting in for Paul at the moment. Sorry, for Richard. Sorry. So, and Mandy is back. So that's good.
And the title of this image is Killing Time.
Alrighty, so we've got a score of 79, so that's a bronze. We're fairly borderline, and Jackie, you've got right of...
Yes, I scored at 86, and you know there's a color, very deliberate color palette here that's all pink and beautiful and soft girly, that contrasts quite radically with her demeanor and her expression. Killing time, I suppose that's a bit obvious, but I just thought the narrative was quite strong. There's no distractions here. The quality of the file is superior. I think it's worthy of a silver.
Okay. Chris, you're at the other end of the scale.
Yeah, I thought you might be coming to me. Love the color palette. I love the composition of it. And actually, Jackie, something you said around, it's so pink. It's very girly, and the cricket bat is not so girly. So I think what I struggled with was the actual killing time portion of it. There was a disconnect between the kind of what's expected of little girls and a clock flying through. So narratively, it's like there's two different things going on, and I wasn't really sure how to resolve those. So if you can address that, that'll really help me move up.
Okay.
I can help with that.
Yep, Mandy?
So the thing that was charming for me about this, and I'm up there with you, Jackie, I'm also a silver, was what you had said before about what's expected of little girls. Her little face is not what you expect of a little girl, and that's part of what adds to the charm. She's got her cricket bat. She is going to knock the snot out of that out of that time, and she's doing everything she can to keep herself entertained in the middle of this chaos. So there's a lot of storytelling elements that are going on here. This is very timely with 2020. but it's a story being told in quite a beautiful little way, and there are many little sub stories being told within it. So I think we should be rewarding that at least at the silver range.
Okay. So yeah, Chris, I think the little clock, it says 7 o'clock, so it's either maybe she doesn't want to go to bed or she doesn't want to get up, and maybe that's what she's going to do with the bat. That's the way I read that, and the rest has been said. So I'm still on 86, and I'm asking you to reconsider.
Okay, judges, if you could put in your new scores, please. Jackie's staying on your current one, thank you. Okay, good talking. We're up to an 83, so that's a silver award. So well done to the author. Thank you, judges.
Paul, do you want me to stay or go?
Richard, are you good to come back? Hello, Richard. I don't know. You might be having. Oh, here he is.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, we can hear you. So yeah, Catherine, just jump off. I will be needing you back soon. All right. So let's have the next image, please.
The image title is Black Swan Symbology. The caption: Black swans symbolize a psychological shift from victim to victor. This image represents the death of a past pain and the start of a new lease of life, free from mental anguish, a reclamation of personal power and inner strength.
Rocco. Okay, I'm seeing that. Paul, are you about by any chance?
Yeah, right here, ready to go.
Yeah, can you jump in on this? Did you hear that
Sure.
description?
Yeah, I heard it.
Good. Okay. Okay, and we're on a silver at 80, but Mandy, are you happy? You're in the.
I'm happy with that.
You're happy with that? Okay. All right. So, congratulations to the author on that. Is somebody that'd like to have a word about that particular image? Can I prompt maybe Richard?
Yeah, look, graphically, it is really pleasing. I think I relied a lot on the narrative and the description of the image. I can see elements of life and death in there, but possibly I needed to see more of that. For me, more of that all pulling through. But well done nonetheless.
Okay, thank you, Richard. And Paul, if Rocco can come back, and Paul, you can jump back out again. Hopefully we haven't lost Rocco. Hello, Rocco. Maybe we have lost him.
I'm back. I'm back.
Alrighty.
Trying to find the buttons.
That's all right. Okay, so can we have the next image, please, Mike?
There is no title for this image.
Paul, I can't put it in yet. Is that right? The red line's not there.
Sorry. Juggling a couple of different things here.
Cool.
Okay, and we have a bronze on 77, which is a bronze award, but we have a little bit of a spread in the scores there. Chris, is that a challenge?
I'd love to challenge this.
Yep. Okay, go for it.
All right. So this had an immediate impact because of the face and the palette and all that. And as you go in and the details start to reveal themselves, they really don't all hit you in the face at once. You've really got to interrogate this image to see everything. The noose comes out really quickly, and then you start finding butterflies, and then you start seeing the paint on the face and all of that. And that's when that narrative starts to really unfold. And for me, I saw a narrative about someone who felt trapped in their life. Maybe that's evidenced by the headscarf and maybe there's choices that she doesn't have that she wishes she had. And the only choice that she can see is to take her life. And perhaps the butterfly signifies moving into the next stage of life or a stage of freedom. Now, I struggled at first with the top of the image being really dark and the color cast being a bit different. And kind of the more I thought about the narrative, the more it felt like when she does escape, perhaps what the photographer is telling us is there's nowhere to go. She just disappears. So even though she thinks there's going to be this release at the end, she goes to nothing. So I find it actually quite a sad piece because it's almost denying the hope for this person. So emotionally, it grabs me, and I think that's worth rewarding. I'm on 83, so I'm asking for a silver, and I'd love us to have a chat.
Okay, Jackie, you're at the other end of the scale. You like to say something?
Yeah, I was on 72, and I've listened to your words there, and I can feel for that. But I found it difficult to get past the cross, the very dark cross that is really cutting this image up into 4 pieces, and those dark areas that are maybe just unresolved, and the photographer didn't know what to do with them to finish the story. I had a sense of that. But I think I was too tough on 72. I'll be coming up into bronze at this stage, and I'll be listening to what you come back with. But I haven't given you many questions to help. I can feel that emotion. The reds are good, and that sort of greeny color up the top. So yeah, okay. Leave it there now.
Yep, Mandy, you got your hand up there.
Yes, please. Thank you very much for challenging this, because when I first looked at it, I dismissed it because I felt like it was a muddled story. But then the more time you spend with the image, the more it releases to you. And that's the beauty of the challenge. For me, the pattern going down the face, that's a pattern of tears, but they're flowers. It's rebirth. The butterfly is rebirth. The noose and the cross is simply that. It's a cross, which adds another layer of symbolism within the piece. So this is a choice between life and death, is the way I'm looking at it. And it's and it also, again, it could reflect our current state of being locked in and the challenges that somebody is facing in that particular environment. Yeah, there's so much that's being said with this piece. I'm happy to join you at silver the more I look at it.
Okay, anybody else want to have something to say? No, Chris, back to you for writer reply there.
Yep. Okay. I think Mandy's kind of covered the cross. I think that's, I get that it's a window frame, but I do think it's iconography of the cross going through her eyes like that. So it's really in your face. And I think there's a statement there. I'm not saying I totally understand the statement, but I can feel it. As far as the areas of darkness go, I think, again, for me, that kind of reflects that maybe when she does, assuming she makes this choice and she goes there, there's nothing waiting for her. So that darkness, that pure blackness, if she's hoping that there's going to be some kind of release or an afterlife or a next phase, that for me, the message is, nope, there's nothing there. So that's, which is really heavy, and I think what's giving it the emotional hook. I'm not asking for a gold. I'm asking for a silver. I'm on 83. I'd love you guys to come up and join me.
Okay, judges, if you can put your scores in there, thank you. Chris, you just need to put your...
Sorry, I'm on it. Sorry.
Yep, that's okay. Alrighty, and that's brought it up to an 81 silver award. So good talking.
Hey.
All right, thank you very much, judges. Okay, now can I just have a blank screen for a moment? And we're just going to do a little judge change. Going to give Jackie a short rest. And Catherine Kanak, can you come in, please? Hopefully, you're there.
Actually, Paul, just in the chat.
Can I wait one more image? Yeah, sure. Jackie, can you stay there for one more image, please?
Okay.
Okay. And we got Jackie back. Yep, good. And so can we have the next image, please?
Image title, Summer's Day.
Okay, and we have a score of 71 with fairly consistent scoring across the judges. So we just have a word from maybe Mandy, sort of in the middle there.
Well-timed capture. It's certainly the decisive moment. I'm just not really sure what storytelling is really happening here. That it feels a bit cluttered, and there's nothing that can take it into an award range for me, personally.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. And we'll have that blank screen again. Thank you. And Catherine, if you can come in for Jackie, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Rightio. Next image, please.
Image title, Parched.
Alrighty, that gives us 77, a bronze award.
Yep.
Having a look across there, Chris, you've got the right to challenge this. So,
all right, only just. I'm on 82. I saw this as a silver image. I think there's a really clear story being told here, which is there's an animal that's been in a drought and has been looking for water and has made their way to a watering hole, and you can kind of see from the way the cracks in the ground are getting smaller and smaller that this is probably where this thing has shrunk and shrunk and shrunk and shrunk and shrunk over time. So it's just gotten there too late and it hasn't been enough. And I think the circular crop helps to reinforce that idea that there's this ever receding watering hole that used to be here. But the heartbreaking part for me is as you look through the detail in those little tiny cracks, you can see green shooting up. You can see kind of this promise that there is still growth and there is something happening in the future. It's too late for the creature that was trying to get some water, but there is some growth coming out. So it's sort of uplifting and heartbreaking at the same time. I thought this was great visual communication, and I put it in the silver range.
Okay, and either Mandy, yes, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I struggle to take it into the silver range simply because of craft. The image seems to be breaking up around the edges. Whereas with a little bit of post-production finesse, that could so easily have been taken into a higher level. Yeah, struggling. Just the blurry edges, you can sense the green, but it's just not as sharp or as beautiful as it had the potential to be, even in post.
Okay, Catherine or Richard, I'd like to hear from one of you, being at the other end of the scale.
Yeah, I was. Oh, sorry.
You go, Richard. You go.
Cool. Look, I was at 73. It's definitely something, when I first looked at it, I thought, I've seen this before. But Chris, listening to your explanation and pointing out that those green shoots coming in through and that narrative you gave, I will come higher. And I actually, my eyes keep going to the outside of that image and how much it looks like elephant skin, but a whole nother story again. But yeah, I will come up. So I've been a bit mean after listening to that.
Okay. We happy with that? All right. So Chris, do you want to write a reply?
Yes, please. So Mandy, I hear what you're saying about the edges. I can't see that kind of, if there's a blurriness toward the edge, it's not bothering me. I'm not sure that I can see it. I do know what you mean about it maybe not being handled in post to make it look beautiful. It shouldn't look beautiful. This is not a beautiful image. This is a stark, cold, terrible image. So I think it's toned the way that it should be. So for me, that's one of the things that makes it belong where it is in silver, hopefully. So I'd like to see you all come up with me.
Okay, judges, thank you very much. If you could all please rescore. Chris, just keeping yours the same, thank you. Alrighty, and that's brought it up into an 80 with a silver award. So well spoken to. Alrighty, thank you, judges. All right, so can we have the next image, please?
The image title, The Battle.
How are we going, Richard? Thank you. Okay, and we have a score of 79. It's fairly even across the board. So we are on the cusp of a 70, on a 79. We have to either decide if it's going to be a bronze or a silver. So judges, I need you to go across and put in either 79 or 80 for this particular image.
At the review score
Review score,
section?
yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and that's taken it to a silver award at 80. So congratulations to the author of that particular photograph. Now, can we have a bit of something from one of the, would somebody like to say something? Richard, you got your hand up there, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, look, enjoying the dynamic light here. There's, it's obviously been some thought put in there. I like the placement of the crown in the background. Just one little thing, I feel like the army in the background could have been resolved a little bit better.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
there's an army.
Thank you for that. Now, can we have a blank screen, please? We're going to do a bit of a double judge swap. Catherine Williams, can you come in for Mandy Lynn, please? And Paul, can you come in for Rocco?
See you soon.
Okay, thank you. Okay, are we all settled in? Okay, next image, please.
Okay, the image title, Te Omarama.
Rightio, and we have a score of 71, and that is fairly consistent across the judges. Can I have something from, say, let's drop Catherine in it, brand new back in.
Yeah, this is, I love the vision of the photographer to bring this sort of sense of balance. For me, what would have brought it higher would be just to see a bit of detail in this black expanse on the left. Just need to get a little bit more understanding for why that's there. I think compositionally that's successfully, but it's not quite cohesive bringing it together.
Okay, thank you very much. And can I have a blank screen again? Okay. Sorry, I missed one other judge that I was going to move around. Can I have Jackie Rankin in for Richard Wood, please?
Okay, back.
Okay. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Richard. Rightio. So, can we have the next image, please?
There's no title for this image.
All right, so we have an 88. Silver distinction. So let's have a look here. Technically,
It's a tie.
it's a tie.
We all score at 88.
So
I should be able to challenge because I'm in the next range, though, eh?
If you're in gold, absolutely.
yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll challenge.
Yeah.
Like to challenge this. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, so I gave this a 91. Really strong narration here. So what I'm seeing here is the youth of today basically taking responsibility for looking after these polar bears whose environment is being degraded and all the icebergs are melting. So she's got her bags of ice ready to go. She's brought them inside to take care of them, and we've got this wonderful coolness here and the folds reminiscent of the icebergs, and then outside the warmth of what's actually happening out there in the environment. Beautifully done. The light on her face and everything. The personality of these bears. You know, I think this is a very, very powerful conceptual piece of communication, and it's gone straight to silver distinction for a very good reason.
Okay, I'll go to the other end of the scale first, and then I'll come back. Chris?
Yep, I was on 83, and like as soon as this was visible, there's such a sense of wonder about it. It is a wonderful image. So as I started to make my way through it, if we're talking gold, there are some technical things that I would like you to address, Catherine. Primarily for me, there's a lot of repetition in the composite elements. So the bags of ice that are on the ground are repeated. The one that she's holding in her hand is repeated. If you look on the ground, there are some elements that are mirrored and flipped. And I know that sounds like a small thing, but when you're trying to make an image that is a fantastical image and take you away from reality, those little the little hints that someone made this breaks that spell. And I think that spell is really important to get something up to gold. A couple of other things that were a little distracting. The light bulb at the top, it almost feels like it's casting a little bit of light, but the light's not on. So that was a little jarring. And I didn't feel as though the polar bear that's got his nose up to the window isn't quite bedded in. It feels a little cut out. And if you look at the way the bear's fur on its back is neatly meshed into the background, but when you get up to the window, it's quite jarring. Don't get me wrong, I love this. This is a beautiful picture and it deserves to earn an award. But if we're talking gold, then I think these are things we need to talk about.
Catherine, you're at the other end again?
Yeah, there's something about the Catherines. We both gave it 91. So I'm bewitched by this. It is a real masterpiece in many ways. The bags of ice being the same doesn't bother me at all. I see, you know, they are the same thing over and over again. As to the light being having the coloration without being on, this is metaphorically the light is on because we're looking at lighter pastures outside. You know, this is done as we head over to the left. It is darker. So I see that as quite symbolic, where that light is drifted, that yellow cast is drifting in and across. The little girl, her pose, her face, everything that she's got going on there is very successful, and adding the slight pink to it, just tying everything in together. It's very cohesive. The texture that we see going across the whole thing draws it all in together beautifully, and they've got the lovely little touches of the two birds outside. I would absolutely love to see this go gold.
Okay, we are on the brink of a golder. We're in between silver distinction and gold. So do either Paul or Jackie want to say anything to that?
Well, I must be honest, I've been a little bit swayed by Chris and his eye for those details, and that's let me down. I scored at 88, and I won't be going to gold.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. If we're happy with that, Chris, sorry, Catherine Katanak, you challenged that?
I
You got
think
the right reply?
the other Catherine has probably done a better right of reply than I would do now, because Chris has also pointed out a couple of things that I hadn't noticed. So I'll just leave that there. My score's locked in at 91.
Okay, judges, if you could please rescore. Okay, and that stays on 88, silver distinction, still a very good score, and the author should be proud. Okay, thank you, judges, good talking. So, can we have the next image, please?
Okay, the caption of this image: her body and mind broken, each and every piece a reflection of who she has now become. Inspired by the Japanese art form of kintsugi, mending broken pieces with gold, creating a new and unique piece of art.
Can I step off for this one, Paul?
Sure thing. So, Chris, Rocco, are you about?
I am, yes.
Can you jump in, please?
Yep.
Okay, so we have a score of 86, which is a silver distinction award at this point. So it's actually very consistent scoring across the board. So can we have a judge? Can we say, anybody putting their hand up? Paul, would you like to say something?
Yeah, wonderful sense of elegance and poise and reflection in the face, and that tonality of shaping of the face is gorgeous, and that sensuality there. And what I find deeply intriguing in particular is both the description and this separation where the bottom, those golden areas are used to reveal the body, and above those pieces are almost doing the opposite. They're pulling away from her and really attesting to that narrative of the broken pieces. Gorgeously sublime color palette, and can spend a lot of time with where this takes me and what it means and how it makes me feel. And it's definitely one of those images I'm going to remember well after the competition.
Great, thank you for that, Paul. Good words. All right, so first of all, Rocco, can you, well, Chris, can you come back and Rocco just take some time? And can we have the next image, please?
There's no title for this image.
Paul, does the X need to move down?
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for that red X to slip down.
Sorry. Okay, and we've got a 75. Are we happy with that? Or okay. Can we have somebody have a little word to the author of the photograph? Maybe Catherine Katanak.
Yeah, beautifully delicate image with a whole lot of texture in there when you get in. I didn't get a strong sense of narration out of this, but I really enjoyed that delicacy. Maybe just watch, and there's a few little quite harsh curves of bright white, you know, because it is so delicate. I found them slightly jarring, but it's a beautiful piece. Well done.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so can we have the next image, please?
There's no title for this image.
Alrighty, and we've got a score of 73 with very even scoring across the board. Chris, could you say something about this?
I'd like to. This is a wonderful portrait, and I really like the sense of connecting the subject with what I presume might be people from her family. If I think I would have gone higher if, as well as if the subject had been mirroring the posing that was happening with the people in the photograph behind to really make it kind of strengthen that connection. But yeah, good job to the photographer.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right, next image, please.
There's no title for this image.
Okay, we have a score of 78, and Paul would like to challenge that. Okay, go for it, Paul.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, just so beautifully contained in the way it's presented, with that beautiful key line just holding us in, and this very sensual sort of shape giving us just a wonderful kind of space to be held in. And I feel like there's a few delicate little sections that are just so delightful, like the little heron on the right hand side and the positioning with the horizon line, and I could just imagine myself coming into this chair and somebody deliberately being witness and creating this space for just this gorgeous space of reflection. You can just imagine yourself sitting there for hours watching the interplay of the birds and the colorations in the sky, and so there's this wonderful, delicate sort of emotional, reflective quality that invites you in to do the same. And that tonality is handled beautifully well. That little bit of detail in the sky just holds us in and prevents us washing out of the frame. I think it's quite a sophisticated piece of communication. I'm really enjoying it on silver.
Yeah, Paul, can you let everybody know your score there?
I'm on 83.
Yeah, okay, thanks. And Catherine, you're at the other end of the scale. Can you say something?
Which Catherine?
Oh, sorry, Williams.
So I gave this 76, and I'm happy to come up. I think it grows on you, this image. I do enjoy the little rewards you get when you come in and you look around and you see the birds, and you realise that the reason why the chair is facing in towards the plants and to see the birds, and I think there's some wee rewards in spending some time with it. So I'm definitely listening and happy to come up.
Can I just quickly say something
Sure.
too? So I did think the fact that the chair was turned inwards was interesting. Right? Normally you would be looking out at the view. And I just also noticed that little stack of stones there, and I wondered if that was some sort of cairn or memorial or something. I just wanted to throw that in the mix as well.
Okay, Paul, write a reply.
Yeah, thanks for your support, ladies. So I do feel like that there's such a deliberateness in terms of the positioning of that chair and the invitation to come and immerse in what would be such a magnificent, dynamic and ever-changing view, and yet we're asked to do this in a quiet and beautifully reflective way. Well contained, quite sophisticated, lots of lovely, delicate reveals, beautiful tonality. I'm on silver. Please come and join.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we please rejudge or redo your scores here? Thanks. Okay, good talking. It's up to an 81, a silver award. Thank you very much. Okay, well done. All right, so can we have the next image, please?
Image title, Level 4, Trapped.
Okay, so we have a score of 68. A little bit of a spread. Are we all happy with that? Okay, great. Can we just have, Chris, would you like to just say something quickly about this?
Yeah, I think this image gives a really good job of feeling like you're trapped, even though you've got a beautiful thing to look out at. You're still behind that fence. I think for me, I want to see a little bit more control in the tones. Just up around the bottom of where that railing is, there's some purpley tones that are kind of that are going against the rest of the palette, and the vignette's a little bit heavy and could be lightened up a little bit.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Can I just have a blank screen for a moment? I'm just going to do a judge swap. Jackie, just giving you a bit of a break again, and if Mandy could come in. And Richard, if you're there, give Chris a bit of a break. He's been on for a little while. Okay, so we got everybody. Looks like it. So, can we have the next image, please?
Image title, Wine Over Time.
Okay, and we have a score of 79. So,
like a challenge.
Who yelled out challenge first time? I wasn't.
Mandy.
That's Mandy.
Mandy. Sorry, I was not looking at the screen. Yep, you got the ability to do that. So go for it.
Excellent. What a graphic way to explain this last year. I mean, honestly, it's so cleverly handled, and it's beautifully delivered. I I cannot see how this is not a silver, just for sheer thought process and the intelligent way it's been delivered to us.
Okay, at the other end of the scale, Richard.
Yeah, I was hoping for a bit more from Mandy for this. I scored it it does have narrative to it, the way we're following through the months of the year there. But I guess I'm looking for a bit more in terms of something visually pleasing. Like I would love it if the photographer had created more shape or art to this and to deliver that message. But I'm all open ears and would love to hear from other people. But yeah.
Okay, well, Catherine Williams is up with Mandy, so maybe she can help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just wondering if before I start, if Richard could just, we didn't catch what you said for your score. You just cut out a little bit.
I gave it 70.
Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, I gave this 87. I think this is a delightful and interesting graphic piece, well handled in terms of giving us a very specific set of tones that we're looking at. The way that the photographer has chosen specifically to show us all these reflections in the shadows is really quite interesting, because we can see this light dancing over the glasses, which is really intriguing. It's a very relatable piece in terms of what April looks like. And then, this kind of resolute, I'm chucking the glass down in June, that's it, I'm out. And then we have a water bottle at the end, or that's how I read it. I read a water bottle at the end. So that's the resolution of making change and presented in a way. These are, the shape of these are like in a calendar. So a wall calendar has that shape. So, we're not looking at a traditional 4/6 crop. It's different shape. And then the handwriting underneath, we feel like we're marking off a calendar.
Okay, great. Thanks, Catherine. Paul's got his hand up. He's in the middle ground there. Yep.
Yeah, just one comment also. I feel like the significance of July is this progression into dry July.
Okay. All right, Mandy, you have the right of reply, so.
I think you guys have nailed it. All we're asking for is 1 point to move this into silver. I think Catherine did a beautiful job of explaining it, and thank you for pointing out the dry July part, Paul. That I totally missed that. There's so much articulated in this one little piece of storytelling, and all we have to do is move it by 1 point. I think we got that in us.
Okay, judges, if you could please rescore.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to put mine in the oh wait, no, I've lost my, there it is. Okay.
Alrighty, and the talking has taken it up to an 83, so a silver award. Congratulations, well done, thank you very much. All right, so can we have the next print, please? Image. That's correct, they're not prints today.
The image title, Black Swan.
Alrighty, and we've got a score of 76, bronze award. And are we happy with this? Okay, can we have Catherine Kanak, do you want to just say something quickly to the author about this?
Yeah, I mean, nicely simple piece of communication here with the dark figure behind this soft and innocent bride, and obviously, you know, the hands are really reflecting the screen there. I guess I would have liked to see a little more light on the face rather than that front hand of the black swan figure that's jarring a little bit for me.
Can I also just make a quick comment? Attention to detail. If you look on her hip, there, you're meant to have this perfectly presented white swan, and it's just those tiny little details could have been cloned out with the wrinkling on the underskirt.
Okay, great. Thank you, judges. Can we have the next print, next image, please?
There's no title for this image.
Okay, and we have a score of 80 with quite a spread. So,
I challenge.
Catherine Kanak, you can, yes.
Yeah, so I want to challenge because I want to talk a bit more about this. You know, we don't have long with each image, and I don't feel I fully understand this. I gave this an 86 though, because it's really got me thinking. I find it quite thought-provoking. So what I'm getting here is that you've kind of got this perfect woman. You know, she's got that sort of 60s model look about her. She is a construct herself, and she's living in this cardboard world with the folds over the top. So, and then she's got her option of all the brightly coloured clothes, but her reality is still contained within this box, and it's all purely constructed. I want to talk about it a bit more because there's some things I don't understand, like the significance maybe of the birds that are down the bottom there. It looks very European as well, the buildings on the side. Yeah, just want to hear what other people think about this one.
Okay, and at the other end of the scale, Catherine, the other Catherine.
Yeah, I gave the 70. I want to applaud the concept and the colour choice. I am really struggling with the cutout, and I realise that we're looking at cutouts, but down her legs, if you zoom into, have a look at her legs and what we've got going on there, it just isn't tidy. It's just especially like the bottom of her left leg, and then down on that her little stand, it just doesn't have the finesse for me to bring it into an award. Now I'm just really, really tight on that.
Okay, and someone from the middle ground there? No? Does anybody else want to have something to say? Oh, Richard, I'll let you go first. Richard?
Yeah. Look, I scored this at, can you hear me?
Sorry, we missed some of that.
Yep. Yeah. I scored this at 78, and which is a good solid bronze. Look, the reason I did that is it's this woman's inside this box, and I've rewarded the photographer set the way the woman has been rough. Lots of little exercises. You're not hearing me?
Yeah, we're losing you. Maybe if we
how about now? How about I've just closed something down because I've had to reload my re-download something.
Yep. Sure.
Is that okay now?
It is at the moment.
So yeah, rewarding the photographer.
Dropped out again, Richard.
Of the cutout.
Yeah, sorry, Richard. If we,
in terms of the cutout nature,
maybe, can we drop your video? Maybe that might help as a thought. And
okay. That better?
Yeah, let's just try that.
Okay. Look, and just in terms of the cutout nature, just to address what Catherine was saying, these types of little toy / activities are often known by children. So, you know, this could be a little child's world where she's cut out that figure. It could be looking back on that woman's child's world. It's supposed to be a cut out nature to it. But I just really wanted to reward the photographer for just the concept and really enjoying it.
Okay, and Paul, you had your hand up too.
Similar parallels. I feel like that's not an issue for me at all, Catherine. Like, it is very, very clearly a created and pasted sort of figure. And I was very intrigued narratively by this concept of this. I need to present myself as this picture perfect woman, and, you know, almost like a poster girl. And here are my, you know, progression of colorfully perfect pieces that I need to place myself with, and that static kind of almost like unbelievability doll-like sort of posing, you know, really alludes to that as well. And that just sort of fake, almost like overly perfect smile. I'm still struggling a little bit, Catherine, with the context and of the buildings, in terms of they do look a bit European, and it feels a little bit more sort of Kiwiana or Americana, but yeah, beautiful textures too, and a great concept. But just need, if you can just thread it together a little bit more, I'll come up higher.
Okay, Catherine, write a reply.
I've decided the buildings don't matter. She can be European. That's fine. I guess, you know, for me, this is all about the artificiality. The cutout nature, I agree, is not a problem. And it's just, for me, it's about the contrast between her brightness and the brightness of her clothing options compared with the grittiness of the surroundings. I mean, you know, forgetting the buildings there, you know, it's got the dead trees and stuff in the background, the really grubby clouds and the quite grubby foreground there. So there's this element of grittiness, and I'm getting a thought-provoking story, and she's very contained, it's very artificial, very constricted, and yeah, I'd like to reward this photographer for provoking the thought here.
All righty, judges, if we could have a rescore, please. Okay, and that's just taken up a couple of notches to 82, so that's a good solid silver award. So thank you for all that feedback, judges. Good talking. Rightio, can we have the next image, please?
There's no title for this image.
Alrighty, and we have a score of 81 with a little bit of a spread of, is that your hand up there, Catherine?
Yeah.
Williams? Okay.
All right, I gave this 88. I really like the content that we're looking at, the simplicity of it presented in a really innovative way. Essentially, you know, we're just seeing black and we're just seeing white, and we know exactly what we're looking at. And as you zoom in, you can see like the texture, the skeletal nature of the leaf, and then these lines that come across and break apart and wisp away. It's almost abstraction. We've got a lot of sense of movement, a great dynamic through the stem of the leaf, and then the wisping away off into the top corner. Feels a very sort of etching-like quality to it as well. Really innovative presentation.
Catherine, the other Catherine?
Yeah,
I'm
not really sure what it's illustrating here. I get that in the delicacy of it being whisked away, but I gave this a 73, and I'm hear what you're saying. Happy to come up a little bit, but I'm not sure where the 87 is coming from in terms of the narration of the concept, really, apart from delicacy being broken up here.
Mandy, you've got your hand up.
Yes. Catherine, I think I might be able to help you with that. For me, I read the degradation of nature through this image, and the loss of so much, and this haunting blowing away into nothingness of this, what is obviously a representation of Mother Nature. To me, this is haunting. This is beautiful storytelling. And I was right there with you, Catherine, at 88. So I'm looking for a silver distinction as well.
Okay, Catherine, do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff, Manji. Haunting was a word that you just used there, and I think that sums it up really well. We're not looking at a solid black. We're looking at quite an inky palette, which really aids the feeling with this piece. Just the level of detail and where we've got little chunks chipping away through the surrounds of that leaf, and then falling off. A huge amount of motion in this, and I think you could apply a lot of metaphoric ideas to this. You know, it could mean so many different things. It takes me to an emotional place.
Okay, judges, thank you very much. If you could please re-judge or re-enter your scores. Mandy, I think you've just thrown a score in the wrong box there. You should be down one level. You should be in row 38. Hello, Mandy. Can you hear us? You are on mute.
Sorry, puppy barking. I did enter another score, but I did also screw up your judging from the one before.
We can see that.
Did the one go through? This one?
No.
Weird.
No.
Okay, let's try that again.
Can you place
if that doesn't work? Yeah, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, and we have a score of 85.
Yay!
So taking it to a silver distinction. So good conversation. Sure, the author will be, the photographer will be very happy with that. All right. So, can we just have a little change around, please? Mandy, can you come off? And Jackie, can you come on if you're there? Hopefully you're still there. And
okay.
And that'll do us for the moment. We'll have another one shortly. Right, can we have the next image, please?
Image title, Eve unsupervised.
Excuse me, sorry, Paul.
Oh, sorry. sorry, not looking up. Sorry, Richard. Chris, are you about?
Sure am.
Can you jump in for Richard?
Yep.
Okay, and we've got a score of 82 with fairly even scoring across the board. Catherine Katanak, you want to say something to the author, the photographer, please?
Yeah, very, very well handled. Beautiful image here. You know, the lighting is gorgeous, the expression is great, the little pops of red throughout it. You've got the serpent, so you know I'm getting the Eve thing. I was a little confused about the arrow. It was a bit William Tell coming into the biblical story there. So I would give it an 84 though. Well done to the photographer. Just the narration wasn't quite clear for me, but maybe I could have got there if I'd spent longer with it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right, so Richard, can you come back? And Chris, if you can take a break and just wait for Richard to come back. Here he goes. All right, can we have the next image, please?
Image title, Fight or Flight.
Rightio, and we have a score of 83 silver. All right, so fairly even across the numbers there. Can we say maybe Paul? Would you like to say something to this?
I really enjoyed the wonderful presentation, the beautiful balance. There's a sense of flow on the top. There's a sense of antithesis between one and the other. There's a conversation around size, and there's a wonderful luminosity and color palette just glowing through the image right at you. I'm still struggling to get the fight or flight. I feel like I'm missing something that might have taken me up another level narratively, and my apologies if I've missed something, but beautifully presented. Thank you.
All righty, thank you, Paul. Can we have the next image, please?
Image title, Fighting Breast Cancer.
Rightio, and we have a score of 82.
Challenge.
Paul, you have the right to challenge this. Yep.
I'll say it straight out. I'm on goal, guys. I'm wow, I'm feeling a little bit shaky. Just incredibly a powerful, emotional, evocative image of the kind of deep turmoil and experiential sort of grief, anger, hatred, rage, pain, distraught. You can read all of these different levels of communication coming through this, and this positioning of the hands over these are the very things that are causing this. Do I rip them off? Do I embrace them? How do I be present with this? You know, where do I go? It's just a swirl of turmoil, and there's so many different ways to read into it. And the color palette just speaks to that wonderfully. that almost garish, wild, sort of uncontrolled emotion is just woven through this just gorgeously in this color palette. And the technique used in terms of adding dynamism and movement and that incredibly dangerous and evocative journey of the mind of how to cope with this experience is just beautifully presented through. There's so many different ways here. I'd love to hear more about it from everyone. I'm on gold.
Catherine Kanek, you're at the other end. Would you like to say something?
Yeah, no, I'm listening. There's a lot of power in the movement here, and that real rah of the face is really powerful. I guess I was just drawn quite to that bright part of the chest, you know, from a visual perspective that was taking me away from that and away from the story, really. So, yeah, just want to hear a little bit more.
Richard, you got your hand up.
Yeah, look, thank you for your eloquency, Paul. And and when you look right into that face, that effect is just stunningly beautiful. It's all about emotion. Catherine, regarding the brighter area on the chest, that's what the whole image is about. So I'm happy to come up and join Paul at gold.
Jackie, yeah?
Yeah, just because we're talking about gold, yeah. What about that, the heavy vignette and that, maybe a little bit more space for this person. It just feels a little bit crammed. And that's, I was on 82. So, I'm on that. I was happy with it being in gold and silver there. So for gold, I think it requires just a little bit more of that finesse, maybe just a little bit sharp somewhere, or just on where we really need our eyes to go instead of it just being a brighter spot.
Okay, Paul, I think you got the right return.
Yeah, I feel like that highlight is an anchor point. It's bringing us back to the pure physicality of what she's trying to hold together and come to terms with, is her physicality and her body. And I feel like that vignette is quite elegantly handled, I feel, and it intensifies the whole thing by pulling you in and holding you in, and it's amplifying it by not giving it breathing room and not giving it space to wash out or become more still or become more serene. She's in that space of phenomenal turmoil and pain, and it's so incredibly powerful and evocatively presented through the technique, through the color palette, through that tightness of framing that really holds us in there and forces us to engage with this level of emotion. Incredibly powerful piece of visual communication. I'm on gold. Please come join.
Okay, judges, if you could please rescore. Okay, well, it worked, Paul. We've got it up to 90, so good talking amongst yourselves there.
Thanks, team.
Well, the photographer will be very pleased with that result. Okay, so thank you very much. All right, can we have the next image, please?
Image title is Mirror, Mirror.
Okay, and we have a score of 80. Are we happy with that?
Just a quick comment, Paul. Yes, I scored it, a challenge, I should say. I scored it 86. It's for its simplicity, its exquisite lighting, color tone, skin tone, gesture, very simply done, and good communication. So maybe a couple more points would make a difference to this author, and it does to me. I'm on 86.
Okay, and can we possibly hear from Catherine Williams?
Yeah, I scored the 76. I guess the simplicity that you love is possibly, I'm finding that just a little bit floating. There's no, we've got the key subject, we've got a subject in the mirror, but there's no sense of place for me other than that. We're just seeing a background, and I feel a little bit disappointed and let down by that.
Okay, Paul. Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to come and join you, Jackie. I feel like we've given a beautiful amount of space to reflect on what I see as potentially this young woman projecting the future or the person or the woman that she wants to be. And I feel like that symbolism and my take on that and my narrative on that is really beautifully presented in a very elegant way, in a very poised way, a very simple way, but it gives us a lot of space to be present with it. I'm going to move up with you.
Okay. And okay, Jackie, if you'd like to write a reply.
Paul said it, and it is about her reflection of herself in the future, and she's quite single-minded about that, and there's no other story that's there as a real connection between their expressions and of believability. 86.
Okay, judges, if we could have a rescore, please. Okay, and we've taken it up a few notches to 83, so that's a good solid silver. So congratulations to the photographer on that. Thank you for the feedback, judges. All right, can I have a blank screen for a moment? We're just going to do a little judge swap. Rocco, are you there?
I sure am.
Can you come in for Richard, please?
I'm in.
Alrighty, thank you, Richard. Okay, and if we can have the next image, please.
There's no title for this image.
Alrighty, and we have a score of 74. So we have one. Yes, Paul, you've got your hand up there. You're somewhat above that.
Yeah, I guess what really struck me instantly about this is the courageousness of presenting a portrait of a creature with no eyes whatsoever. And by choosing that angle and its, and the deliberateness of the way it's been presented to us is it makes its character about its teeth and its tongue and its nose and its hairs, and which are one of the great ways it interacts with the world. And if it's a giraffe or a camel, I'm not really sure, but I just, if you've ever been near one of those creatures, that's a huge part of your interrelationship with them is these other aspects of their physicality and the way they sort of interact with you with the smell and taste. And I just thought it was quite courageous in terms of presenting a portrait of a creature in this particular way. It's an unusual color palette. It makes it more about the texture and brings you into the features, and it lets you decide emotionally, I guess, where you want to go with it. But I'd love to have more of a conversation about it and maybe get it into bronze.
Jackie, you're at the other end of the scale.
Yeah, I'm on 70, and Paul, it's been really let down with, it's not a portrait, it's a mouth of an animal, and the illustrative qualities have been destroyed by the very dark vignette, I feel. I really do enjoy the tongue and the teeth, but what about a little bit more of the story? And that's why I'm on 70. Professional practice.
All right, thank you. And we've got anybody else wanting to speak up? No? All righty.
For me, sorry, Paul, it is about everything that you said, but then it is about the nose as well. And for me, it's not in focus all the way through where I want it to be. That front, it's all detail, but it's not all there. the teeth and the tongue are, but then I come into that area between the nostrils that's all out of focus there, in the center of the image really. But I go 73.
Okay, Paul, write a reply.
Yeah, Catherine, to me, that's part of its garishness. You know, it's a very garish, provocative kind of exploration of an animal. It's not presented pretty. It's had all its, you know, warmth and color sort of taken about. It's given in a garish kind of quite colorless sort of palette. You know, we've got this heavy sort of vignetting that just forces us in to engage with the texture that's there. And we're given a few extra cues in the back in terms of the shape and the rest of the animal, but it's just kind of this in-your-face kind of presentation. And if you've ever dealt with a camel or something like that, this is how you interact with them. They're in your face, and those is what you're seeing. And I enjoyed both the humor and the comical element, and the textural element, and I guess the courageousness of presenting it in quite a different sort of way. So I'm only asking for a point, but if you want to come into bronze to reward the author for that little bit of courage, feel welcome.
All right, judges, if you could please put in your updated scores. And that stays on a 74. So thank you for all that comments and regarding the image. I'm sure it's still valuable to the photographer. Rightio. So can we have the next image, please?
There's no title for this image.
Let's sit down, Paul.
Oh, sorry, Paul. Sorry, not looking up. Sure thing. Chris, are you about?
Sure am.
Thank you. Okie dokie. So we have a score of 84, and it's pretty even across the board there. So we have a comment maybe from Catherine Williams, who's sitting on that score.
Yeah, this is really beautiful. The palette, the detail, the little mice that feature throughout. You know, the hand. There's just so much to look at in this. You know, it's just incredible. The harmony of the color, the richness of the color, the figure herself. I would have loved to have maybe that sweep of her hair over her eye maybe come up a little bit just so we can see a little eyelash or just a tiny little peak. I think would have been lovely.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Okay, so can we have the next image, please? All right. Sorry, I'm doing everything at the moment. So this has no image title. So. Okay, and we have a score of 77 with fairly even scores across the board. Rocco, would you like to say something about this to the photographer?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's beautifully presented, beautifully captured, beautiful soft tones. But for me, the story is not complete. It's unfinished. It needs something to bring it over the line. It needs something for the story. It needs a narrative, and we're not kind of seeing that at the moment.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm sure the photographer will be happy with the bronze award there. So, can we have the next image, please?
Image title is Abstract City.
Catherine?
Which one?
Williams, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, just, thank you. Okay, and that is a score of 74, once again, with numbers fairly even across the board. Paul, would you like to say something quickly about this?
Yeah, I would actually. The sensuality of the curves is really gorgeous, and the spread of colors is really appealing. I wonder if this might have actually had a stronger narrative if you flipped it upside down and you tried to present it as a kind of crossover of a more literal interpretation of a building.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Can we have the next print, please? Image.
There's no title for this image.
Rightio, so we've got a score of 77. And that's across the board pretty close. Geez, we've got some fairly even judging going on at the moment. Catherine Williams, you're on the average there. You'd like to say something for the...
Yeah, sure. It's yeah, great little piece. Plenty of story going on in there. Enjoying the little origami boats or hats. I would have liked to. I'm feeling like there's a little bit of staticness in the feet, which is maybe something that could have been worked on. But yeah, it's great. I'm enjoying the tonality as well. So well done.
Okay, can we have the next image, please?
There's no title for this image.
Paul, you've got the red panel up again. Chris, are you about again?
Yep, sure thing.
Paul, if you could just, thank you. All right, so we have a score of 80. That's a silver award. All right, so Catherine Kanak, would you like to say something about this to the photographer?
Really beautiful, intriguing piece. Loving the panoramic crop here. To be honest, I am a little confused as to the concept. And we're not going to have a chance to really talk about that. I scored it in silver range just because I felt that that was probably my fault for missing something here. If I had longer, I might have got it, but it's a beautiful piece of work. Yeah, so well done. It's thought-provoking.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can I just quickly say something on this?
Sorry?
Can I just quickly say something on this?
Yeah, okay.
Just, I mean, it's a beautiful abstract piece and really enjoyed the tones in this. But just compositionally, think about arranging things a little bit differently, because that first image, you're kind of stuck there, and then as you move across, it doesn't take you back. So perhaps if that was, say, a central part of the picture, and then the swirls leading you into that center, it needs a focus point. It's probably my point. So just that.
Okay, thank you very much. Chris, can you just hang in there for one more image, please? Okay, so can we have the next image, please?
Image title is Empty Vessel.
Do you want? Am I back on or just?
No,
checking?
just hang out. We'll just have Chris in for this one. Thanks, Paul.
Oh.
Sorry, Paul.
Rightio, so we've got a score of 77. So are we happy with that, judges? Yeah. All right, so maybe Jackie, haven't heard from you for a little while. You like to say something to the photographer about this?
Yeah, I scored it 78, and I think perhaps to take it to the next level would be a little bit more sort of photographic sensibilities and less of the stars that are duplicated through the background. But lovely tones and idea.
Okay, thank you very much. Yep, Paul. Chris, you do your swap back, please. And can we have the next image?
There's no title for this image.
Alrighty, and we've got a score of 70. So can we possibly hear from Rocco?
Yeah, really enjoyed the beautiful pastel nature of this image. Not really sure on the narrative, and it really lacks impact in that way. So.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, can we have the next image, please?
The image title is Self Layers. The caption reads, self-portrait illustrating the many physical and emotional layers experienced during a difficult period in history.
Okay, and we have a score of 72.
Can I challenge that, please?
You have the right to challenge that? Sure, go for it.
So I gave this 77, just squeaked it into the bronze range. Well, more than squeak, that's a solid bronze, really. This is a thought-provoking image for me. I find it really quite beautiful with this gorgeous colour palette and all the texture there. And then you getting in there with all the pins through it. And it's like when you, initially I just saw sort of this shroud like, of Turin or something. And then I step back and I do see a figure in here. And then the hint of even location with the, I can see a pier in the background there and the sea and a mountain. So I'm getting the sense of location and also just a lot of visual interest in my eyes really flowing around here. So yeah, I'm finding it quite intriguing and I'm thinking it deserves an award.
Jackie, I'd like to hear the other end of the
I
argument.
scored at 66 because yes, I can see the landscape in the middle, and perhaps that's just where the photograph should have been cropped to, so I get the narrative, but I'm confronted by texture and white areas at the bottom, a lot of distracting areas that are taking me away from that story. Even a green pin on the left and right, and so yeah, I think there's a story there, but I think they needed a bit more of the photographic story of the figures coming through a bit stronger.
Okay, Paul?
Yeah, Jackie, I feel like they're a little bit important, particularly that weave sort of coming apart is quite symbolic, I think, of you know, the fabric of life sort of tearing apart. And I feel like perhaps these little pinpoints symbolically represent particular pointed moments in the struggle symbolically. And I think that color palette is quite disturbing and it's quite flowing at the same time. So it asks you to move around into different sort of emotional spaces, I think, in a very subtle sort of way. I'm with you on the intrigue, Catherine.
Okay, Catherine Williams is waving her hands at me.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately I'm more with Jackie on this. I think the texture is incredibly dominating, and the narrative is too subtle. We're just really losing that. So yeah, I gave it 70.
Okay, okay, back over to you, Catherine.
Yeah, I think the color palette is disturbing, and that's very appropriate for the mood that this photographer is trying to convey here. And I like what you said about the fabric tearing apart. For me, that white bit is balanced by the heavier details at the top. And you know, I feel that this person is hiding. They're shrouded. There's a sort of sense of violence with the pins. It's a very evocative piece for me. It is a little confusing, but it's got me thinking, and it's got so much mood and, yeah, as I say, evocative. So I'd like to reward it.
Okay, judges, and if you could please rescore. Okay, it's snuck up to 73, so I'm sure the photographer will enjoy the feedback. So thank you very much for that. Can we just have a blank screen, please? All right, and just going to do a little jiggling around with the judges. Chris, could you come in for Paul? Paul, don't go too far. I'll have you back soon.
Sure.
Rightio, next image, please.
There's no title for this image.
Sorry, Paul. I didn't last very long.
Oh, rightio. Paul, are you still there? Okay. Oh, Richard Wood. Yeah, why don't we bring in Richard? That's
I'm here if you need me.
Oh, we'll bring in Richard. Well, I was
Okay.
giving you a break. I need you back soon, so if Richard's
I'm here
there.
too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. I know you're there. That's good. Okay, Richard, go for it.
All right, I just put it on the wrong one.
Rightio, and we have a score of 83, but we have a huge spread. So, Catherine, you've got your hand up there. Williams?
Yeah, I gave this 93. This is yeah, like, okay. I see a boy who is about to be a man, someone who's trapped in their own head. They feel very melancholy. They feel very blue. There's like, it feels like chalk. There's line drawings. There's all these broken up shapes. I am confused by the narrative, but I feel like I'm looking at some sort of depression where the body and the head are disconnected. And then you see, I mean, like, this is a really stunning use of the burgundies with the orange and then the turquoise coming through, and the softening of it, the choice of the layering and the movement that we're seeing with this figure on this, with this sort of the stark presentation that we're given.
Okay, Richard?
Yeah, look, I was there at 77, so a solid bronze. I guess it's because I'm still struggling to see a narrative, and I guess you could go down a handful of routes there. The turquoise for me doesn't really symbolize a sense of depression, so I'm still searching, and still listening.
Okay, Catherine Kadanek?
I'm sort of in the middle. I was on 77. I hear what you're saying there, Catherine. I think this is an intriguing image. I also wasn't getting the depression though, and I was being drawn down to the burgundy. But it kind of fits though with the hands behind. Like, it's kind of awkward, and it just takes you back down there, and then his head is fading away. So I'm thinking maybe that is all part of the narration here. And it's certainly a very intriguing image. So. I think I've been a bit mean on 77 because I am finding it intriguing, but I'm also confused.
Yep. Jackie?
Yeah, I should speak to it. I scored at 87. I didn't understand it, but it affected me emotionally, and I thought that was really, that's got to be up there for that. The sense of balance between the figure that we're seeing and then that negative white space, particularly that going through the head, it makes it quite airy and yeah, it takes me somewhere else. So I'm still on 87. It's hard for me to go to gold because of the unresolved nature of the white space that is just white. But yeah, I'm still 87, a silver distinction.
Yeah, Rocco, you're keen to say something too?
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredibly visually striking piece, and the color palette is just so beautiful, and visual impact was just amazing. I just couldn't get past the fact, and I'm on 83 as far as my score was, but the cropping of the hands, the awkward crop, and I'm just trying to read a narrative into that, and I'm struggling with that. But maybe Catherine, you can throw some light on that, because I could go either way, and that's why I was sort of on 83. I wanted to love it, and I wanted to love it more, but certainly incredible visual impact.
Okay, Catherine, to wrap it up.
Okay, so I just really want everyone to look and realise that the background is not a stark white, and I feel like this is a purposeful element of control that we're having that adds to the feeling. This feels like I'm in an art gallery. I feel like I'm in an art gallery looking at this piece of art on the wall that's very representative of what's going on in this man or boy's head. Where the hands are cut off, to be honest, I didn't notice it, because I feel like there's these layers and this sense of movement where it's intermingling with everything that's going on down the base there. And so we're just, getting that combined together. There's such a layering of textures and interest and intrigue. And I feel like this is a photograph that means a lot to the person views it, because it does feel like it's at about an emotional state, and has a very high level of originality. I'll definitely remember this image for a long time.
Alrighty, thank you very much, judges. If you could please rescore. All right, that's taken it up into the silver distinction range of 86. So well done. Congratulations to the photographer. Okay, now, Chris, can you come back? Is Richard, can Richard disappear? Richard, can you jump on out? Thank you. All right. Who are we missing?
Yeah.
Okay, can I have the next image, please?
The image title is Indigenous Heritage.
Paul, I can't change this one.
Oh, okay, Rocco. Richard, can we bring you back in? You were just there. Bring you back in again.
No worries.
Okay, and that gives us a score of 78, bronze. But are we happy with that? Okay, can we have a comment from Catherine Kidnap?
This is quite an intriguing image and certainly an original presentation that I haven't seen before. I think the colour tones at the top and the bottom did give me the sense of heritage there, and then the title with the Indigenous thing brought in that sort of idea of all the different points. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe just a little bit more space around the whole thing. They feel a little bit crammed to the outside, but yeah, an interesting image and some lovely shots in there.
Okay, thank you very much, Catherine. Richard, Rocco, can you come back? Richard?
Back.
Yep. Alrighty, can we have the next image, please?
Image title is Never Alone.
Okay, and we have a score of 74 with fairly even scoring across the board. Rocco, yeah. Rocco, would you like to say something to the photographer about this?
Yeah, appreciate the story and the narrative. The lighting just needs a little bit of extra work. We've got very, very hot area on the shoulders, and that's sort of drawing a lot of the attention away from the rest of the picture. And also the positioning of the figure on the left, the angel. It's actually occupying a large part of the frame, and it draws a lot of attention as well. And it takes you a while for your eye to move in through the frame to find the story. But good creative attempt.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, can we have the next, oh, hold on. No, yep, we're all good. And can we have the next image, please?
There's no title for this image.
Paul? Sorry,
Yep. And can we amend? Hold on a sec. No. Paul Holland, are you about?
Right here.
Can you just jump in for Catherine, please?
Sure.
Rightio, we have a score of 87, which is a silver with distinction, but we might have somebody that wants to say something about that. Catherine?
Yeah, I have hit the no-in button, and that's because I'm assuming that I know the photographer here from a series of work. This is phenomenal. Each of these aliens has its own character. The dude at the one in the middle at the back is like, oh, you just caught me at it. You're not meant to be here. And the expressions, the expression on the man, you know, the level of fear, the lighting on his face, the use of color here, where we've got this electric blue that is absolutely emanating out of hands, but it's not overdone. It's done in a way that it's you know, it takes us into this little fantasy. You know, we've got all these details of the pill bottles and the pills, and then we've got this rooster. In this bizarre scene, we've got a rooster just checking out, you know, having a look to see what happens, and then this alien at the back who's, you know, he's got his phone out. He wants to get a shot of this moment. There's so many details in here. It's wonderfully bizarre and so innovative. It's incredibly hard when, you know, to judge something when you feel you know the photographer. And sometimes I think that can lead a bias to pull it down, but I just think this is amazing.
Jackie, I think we need to hear from you.
So I go at 78, and I'm obviously the lowest. The reason being because it feels like there's a little bit of sort of button pushing going on here. That I've seen these figures before. Yes, I didn't press 9, but I could assume. And there's what's happening in the empty black spaces. They are sort of floating in sort of no room, but that hasn't been resolved. But kind of a clincher that I couldn't get was that the alien that is right above the man's head has got a weird kind of back. You know, there's a shape in there that doesn't belong, as if it was unresolved and an accident that was left in there. Can you tell me what that is? It's like a shoulder, but it's not, right underneath that one. And the skin tone of the man being so different from everything around it, and the quality of light on his eyes, it's quite spectral, yet the light that's in the room that's hitting all these aliens is much softer. I wasn't really being taken by the story. I love all the elements, and what is it? Why is the rooster looking through the window? So there you go. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared to go and press gold on that one.
Okay, Paul's in the middle ground and he's waving his hand.
Yeah, I'm on 87, and I'm pretty likely to come up with you. I feel like that lighting and that separation of lighting him is important. He's on his own particular journey where he may not even be aware of what's going on around him, and that light, maybe he's facing, the tunnel that people talk about when they're facing death. I love the sense of leadership and cohesion around this community of people. I feel like there's this one dressed character in the robe in the center that's kind of leading with the most hands-on sort of presentation. There's an element of technology and also almost like ethereal nature that's being combined together in the way they're treating him. There's this wonderful procession of alien ships in the background coming in. It's like they're all coming together to support this man collectively, whether he's aware of it or not. And the narrative is clear. The beautiful way they've shaped all the bodies with the lighting and the different shapes. I can't quite speak to that aspect of the shoulder. I didn't even notice it actually, Jackie. Sorry, but I don't think it's particularly important. Yeah, I'm very close to joining you, Catherine.
Okay. Anybody else want to say? No. Okay, Catherine Williams, go for it. Wrap up, please.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add. I think I said a lot at the beginning, but that we're looking for the narrative and originality, and we have so much of that in this with a very bold palette that's really effective, and a lot of quirk and wonderful story. I'd love to see it go higher.
Okay, judges, if you could please rejudge. Paul, are you? Have you entered your number?
Oh, yes, I put it in the wrong box. Yeah.
Oh no!
Slap of the hand. How's that?
Okay, thank you very much. Alrighty, so that is taking it to a gold on 91.
Yeah.
So congratulations. Good talking to the image there, and I'm sure the photographer will be very happy with the result. All right, so Paul, jump out again. If Catherine can come back. Alrighty, and if we can have the next image, please.
The image title is Porcelain. The caption reads, "A delicate portrait of femininity. We are strong yet fragile, beautiful yet fractured, inspired by the Japanese art form of kintsugi, mending broken pieces with gold, creating a new and unique piece of art."
Paul, is the X on the right row there?
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Stand up. Okay, so we have a score of 83, and that's pretty even scoring across the board. Silver award. Can we hear from Catherine Kadnick?
Yeah, this is really quite exquisite, and it's very strong conceptually. Wonderful attention to the painting and I love the whole idea. Just what could have lifted it a little bit for me is a wee bit of attention to detail down the bottom with the two curves going off to the side there. I'm finding those quite distracting. Everything else is really strong.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so can we have the next image, please?
There's no title for this image.
Rightio, and we have a score of 80, silver, and it's getting fairly even across the board. Word from Chris, maybe.
Just going to volunteer. Yeah, this is beautiful. The tones are wonderful, and the graphics and the composition are great. What I really appreciate is it's not a flip. So there's a lot of, as you look through the mirroring, it's different left to right. It's different top to bottom. So it really rewards you for spending more time and working your way through it. So yeah, well done, the photographer.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Now, can we have a blank screen for a moment? Need to do a bit of a double judge swap. Can Mandy Lynn come in for Catherine Williams? Give you a little bit of a break. You've been on for a while, Catherine. And if Richard Wood can come in for Chris. You're here, we're here. Okay, can we have the next image, please?
Okay, the image title is The Loneliness of Grief. The caption reads, "You cannot heal from a grief with anyone's help but yours. It's all you that can support and hold you, helping fight it."
Paul?
Oh, sorry, Rocco. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Yep, no, it's all right. Paul, are you there?
Yeah, right here.
Yep, can you just jump in for Rocco?
I missed the caption, sorry.
Oh, okay.
The caption or the title, Paul, do you want both?
Oh, both.
Okay, the image title is The Loneliness of Grief. The image caption, "You cannot heal from a grief with anyone's help but yours. It's all you that can support and hold you, helping fight it."
Rightio, and we have a score of 91. So that's a gold award. So,
Go. Wow.
okay, so that's great news for the photographer. Are we happy with that? I think the judge, the photographer will be very happy with that. So can we just have a comment maybe from Jackie?
Yeah, sure. I gave this 92, and all the whole story's there. It's simple, it's clean, it's so masterfully executed. The believable expression, beautiful skin tones, and depth without being overworked. Deservedly a gold. Well done.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, Paul, can you jump back out, and Rocco, if you can come back in. And once Rocco's back, excellent. Can we have the next image, please?
There's no title for this image.
Rightio, and we have a 88, and that looks pretty good across the board. Mandy Lynn. Yes, actually, you've given it a gold, so you can technically challenge that. Yep, go for it.
All right, we are 2 points away from a gold, and I would just like to spend a bit more time on this image. This was the one that really struck out for me in the preliminary judging and stuck in my head. Such strong storytelling. You've got so many elements here. You've got the people checked out. You've got the concept of all of our social media being complete junk food for our brains. You've got this longing in this dog. It is an illustrative category, and I cannot think of there are very few images that have this sort of punch in terms of illustrative quality. And the fact that it is not highly polished, that is the whole kind of point of this. It doesn't need to be beautiful. It doesn't need to be sensual. It needs to be ugly and grim and grotty. And this is exactly where they have gone with this post-production, which is the perfect foil for it. So please reconsider here.
Richard, you're at the lower end of things.
I scored this 86, silver distinction. Loving the narrative, etc. There were just a few minor details that possibly pulled me down a little bit from gold, in terms of the daylight coming in from the window, but yet the dog's face has quite a blue tone on it, and same with quite a cool tone on the woman's hair, and just some specular highlights around the place. But definitely a really strong message. All those. There's multiple trademarks around the place that we're so involved in, and yeah, just I felt really comfortable with the silver distinction, but I'm still listening.
Jackie, were you wanting was that a 30 sport?
Well, I'm on 88, and I'm pretty happy where it is on 88 because of what Richard said too. And that dog on the right, he seems a bit soft. And when I look at the carpet, everything else in here is really clean. There's no crumbs anywhere. It's just everything's been placed in here so beautifully, and it's a great message. But just that little bit more might have been a bit more reality, of a bit more grime.
Okay. All right. I see others nodding with you. So Mandy, I think it might be back to you for the wrap up.
Sure. I'm just going to read out gold. Outstanding level of imagination and creativity, outstanding visual communication, interpretation of subject or emotion, originality of thought and concept, and outstanding mastery across all areas of technique, craft, production, and print quality. Obviously, we don't have the print quality. Jackie, I'm not seeing the softness in the dog. In mine, it's totally crisp. There's grotty bits on the paper, so or on the I'm seeing grot where the Pinterest one is. It's icky. I would not want to put my hand in that mess. Let's just put it that way. I can see the dog. It could be a later hour. Who knows? But what I'm not seeing enough to take it down 10 points or more out of that level. For no, sorry. This is gold quality, and yeah, I urge you. It's 2 points to reconsider. That's all.
Okay, let's see if the message has got out there. So judges, please rescore. Righty. Okay, so we're now got a score of 89, which means that we have to have either an 89 or a 90 out of you judges in the review score panel, please. And that's an 89, silver distinction. Okay, so thank you very much. All right. Okay, can we have the next print, please?
The image title is Down the Rabbit Hole. Caption reads, an artwork created as a feature mural on an international hotel wall to work with their Wonderland theme and tall, narrow space.
Okay, and we have a score of 81, silver award. Fairly even numbers across the board there. Rocco, can we have a short comment from you, please?
Yeah, I enjoyed the story and the placing of elements. I'm struggling. There's a softness there and lack of contrast per se, but also when you look at lighting direction, the cup has a shadow of light coming from the sort of right-hand side, but then we have parts that are lit from a totally different direction. So there's a little bit of confusion with that. But overall, a really well thought out piece.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. All right. Can we have the next image, please?
Image title is Displacement.
Sorry, Paul, I've got to step off.
Well, all right. Paul Holland, are you about? Paul? Hello, Paul? Maybe. No, he might be out of the room. Catherine, are you there?
Right here. Sorry, my screen just went quiet.
Okay, all right, we'll stick with you now. Yep.
Image title, Paul, is Displacement.
Are you jumping out, Rocco?
Yes, sorry, I need to turn myself off.
Okay, sorry. All right, and we have a score of 79. The numbers are fairly even across, although we have a couple in the 80s. We don't have any challenges, but we do need to make a decision whether it's 79 or 80 because it's on the border there. So if we could go over to the review and judge, we need a 79 or an 80. Thank you. Okay, and that stays at a 79, so thank you for that. Can we have a comment from Catherine Kanak?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the quirkiness of this photo and the humour in the giraffe having to sort of swish the head down to fit in there. I felt that the eye went straight to the giraffe, but on the left, the emu or ostrich or whatever it was just getting a little bit lost against the background. It would have been nice to have more balance between the two there. But yeah, quite quirky, quite fun.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. All right, so if Paul can jump back out. And actually, Catherine, we'll give you a break. You've been on for quite some time, and I'll just bring in the other Catherine Williams, please.
All right, I'm here.
All right, awesome. Okay, we're nearly there. So, next image, please.
Image title, A Dreamtime Story.
Sorry, Paul.
Oh, Rocco. Okay. We
Sorry,
have
mate.
Paul in again, please.
Yeah, no problem.
Sure.
So for the image title, A Dreamtime Story.
Catherine, I think you just put that into the wrong column.
Oh,
yes. Sorry, that's my error for I didn't mark the X, sorry. My fault.
Okay. So where we are.
Thank you. Rightio, and we've got 82 across the board. Oh, sorry, a score of 82. But yeah, Paul, you've hit the mark there to challenge that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. I feel like it's really masterfully crafted. There's so much consideration and symbology and design and thought and cultural reflection sort of presented to us in such an elegant way. This beautiful elliptical shape that sort of alludes to that dreamlike quality, that soft kind of mauve kind of border just gently holding us in, that extra little bit of warmth in terms of the whites just to lift us and engage us a little bit more emotionally. This beautiful symbolism of the butterfly itself and those cocoon-like sort of representations in the middle, which speak to, you know, evolution and growth and development and blossoming, and the symbology of the features in there and the kind of elements that are involved culturally. I can speak to some of it, but not others. I think it's well high up there in terms of its level of communication and sophistication and symbolism. And the silver's great, but I really feel like this is well up there in the silver distinction range.
Okay, Richard, I think we need to hear from you.
Yeah, look, looking through the image, I can, you know, there's a good, you know, professional standard coming through with the individual images. I guess what I was having trouble with is the fact that they've been pulled from that and moved into what appears to be a stencil-like, you know, image of a butterfly. And listening to Paul, you know, I can hear your points as well. So I'm happy to come up a little bit. I was a high professional standard at 74. I'll move that a little bit more, but other than that, I'm struggling to get much more from it.
Okay. Comment from the middle ground. Did anybody want to volunteer? Catherine?
I'm possibly middle ground. 82. I feel really comfortable with it as a silver. I think the design is fabulous and the symbolism I'm really enjoying. The photographic content I don't feel is as striking as the design. So I feel there's a disconnect with that. I would have enjoyed just the lighting on the baby, and some of these feels quite harsh and a little bit not quite to the level of craftsmanship that I'd really like to see. But I do enjoy the design and the innovation in here.
Okay, thank you. Paul, could you wrap that up?
Yeah, excellent point, Catherine, and fair enough. I do feel like I was quite seduced by the design to they kind of miss kind of that pure sort of photographic element in terms of lighting, and I'd probably agree that that could be slightly more masterful. But I still feel like the strength alone in terms of its symbology, its beautiful use of color to support that cultural narrative, the different sort of elements in there that speak to culture, that wonderful symbolism of opening and blossoming and growth and expansion, and this very elegant, very, very extremely elegant sort of level of presentation and containment that it's given to us. It's quite masterful for me in the silver distinction range for sure.
Okay, thank you. Can we have a rescore, please? Or you just need to plug your score back in there.
Oh yeah, sure.
Thank you. Alrighty, it's gone up one more, so we're at 83. So it's definitely a strong silver. So thank you for that. All right, so can we, if you want to jump back out, and hopefully Rocco won't red card us for a third one in a row.
No, I'm good.
All right, so if we can have the next image, please.
The image title is Worlds Apart. The image caption reads, seemingly bound and gagged by her environment, Mum is static, a prisoner to an unwanted but necessary procedure. On the other side of the drape, sterile, methodical, and in control medical professionals facilitate new life.
Rightio, and we have a score of 71. And are we happy with that? Okay, thank you very much. And Catherine Williams, do you want to just have a small word on this?
Yeah, sure. There's certainly an intensity to what's going on here. I am fighting with the line that is going right across the woman's face, and the treatment of it is quite harsh. Possibly could have been not so grainy and not so violent in the colours.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. All right, can we have the next image, please?
The image title is Walk. Image caption, the impact on native species by domesticated and feral animals can be devastating.
All right, and we have a silver award with 80, and pretty good numbers across the board there. So congratulations to the photographer. Jackie, would you like to say anything to the photographer on this?
Yeah, I just think it's where the sum of all its parts make a really strong story. The colour palette within each of those squares and the variation between them come down to a good story. And yeah, powerful. I was at 84, and yeah, well done.
Okay, thanks, Jackie. And just for the last few, we'll give you the rest of the night off. And if we could just bring Chris in for the last few images, that would be great. Rightio. Okay, so can we have the next image, please?
There's no title for this image.
Okay, and we have a score of 71 with very tight numbers amongst the judges. So, Richard, quick word to the photographer? No?
Yeah. Hey, I guess I'm looking at it. I'm struggling to know what I'm looking at. It's almost got the texture of possibly butterfly wings and those spots and whatnot. And maybe it's a mixture of things. I did enjoy the little sort of button nose and two eyes down the bottom, which, you know, that teddy bear sort of face. But I think I was needing a little bit more.
Great, thank you for that. And can we have the next image, please?
There's no title for this image.
Okay, and we have a score of 72. Once again, fairly tight amongst the judges. So, to wrap it up, Chris, would you like to say something?
Yeah, so this is it's a great portrait of a great subject. I feel there's some photographs in the background, and I almost feel like there's an attempt to tie the subject to those photographs, and maybe if the photographer had taken just a step to the right to kind of frame her with those photographs, it might be a more powerful piece. Maybe bring them into focus a little bit with a different aperture as well.
Alrighty, and here's the next slide, please. That is it. Okay, so I'd like to say a really big thank you to the judges. It's been a long night. Some of that could have been caused by my panel sharing for the first time, but thank you very much for your patience, judges, and your feedback. I'm sure the photographers were appreciative of that, and for spending your Sunday afternoon, evening, sitting in front of the computer and assessing these images for us. Also like to just thank the audience for taking the time out for listening in or watching later on the recorded stream. Of course, big thank you to the sponsor, D-Photo magazine, and thanks to David Burns and the photo team at D-Photo. Their bi-monthly magazine is always packed full of inspirational featuring.
Jackie said, so is it okay to go and have dinner now?
Who's interrupting me? Featuring in-depth interviews with local and international photographers, as well as fantastic practical how-to guides, reviews and the latest gear, tips and improve the reader's own photography, and of course, pages full of stunning images from cover to cover. Subscribe today. All right, I'm sure they'll appreciate your support. And of course, not last but not least, the team. Here in Christchurch, we had Kate earlier. We've got Shah here beside me. In Rotorua, we've got Mike Kay and Jen Marie and Tracy. And of course, up in Auckland in lockdown, Harry. And not forgetting, of course, Michael, who is controlling everything behind the scenes. Okay, thank you very much, guys. And until tomorrow.